Welcome back to Hannity. For the 238th time, America is preparing to celebrate the 4th of July, the day the 13 colonies declared our independence from Great Britain. But before we do that, I wanted to take a minute to reflect on our independence. Folks, America has changed. We were once a strong and proud people built on a rock-solid work ethic, independent. Recently, however, we've evolved for the worse. A massive 55% of all Americans have relied on the government for a handout. 46 million Americans are receiving food stamps, up 14 million since Obama took office. 9 million workers are now on disability, up 20% under Obama. All the while, nearly half of American households pay no federal income tax, meaning more and more takers are in the cart and fewer makers are pulling the darn thing. Barack Obama and his minions keep telling us how great the recovery is. Really? Gasoline is up 100% under Obama, and food prices are an all-time record high. Sadly, Americans' median household income has plummeted. As for Obamonomics, here's a Fox News alert. Obamonomics is an oxymoron. By the way, may I suggest we start observing a new day, January 20th, the day President Obama was sworn into office. May I also suggest a name for that day? How about Dependence Day? Join me now with reaction, our Fox News political analyst, Juan Williams, and co-host of Outnumbered, Katie Pavlich. Now, Juan, I hope you heard that little rant I put together there. Dependence Day, what do you think of that?
I think it's ridiculous. You know, it's one of the things that I just so love about America is we're the land of opportunity. People from all over the world, Eric, still dying to get to America, love America, honor America as that land where you can make something of yourself. And, you know, when you talk about us and the problems with the Obamonomics, don't forget, right now we see unemployment at the lowest level it's been well since the Great Recession. That's the key difference here. You don't have any context that says the economy just about hit the skids just before this president took office.
I'll give you a little context. If you had all the people that have left the workforce under President Obama, you'd have around a 10% unemployment rate. Katie, go ahead. Are we becoming a dependent nation?
We absolutely are becoming a dependent nation, and all we have to do is look at the numbers to prove that. In 2009, 11% of American households were on food stamps. In 2014, 20% of American households are on food stamps. And why is that? That's because unemployment is not down. The percentage of unemployment that the Bureau of Labor Statistics gives us is a bogus, false number that doesn't show us the whole unemployment picture. We have 90 million people in this country out of work. And Eric, you said it in the beginning of the segment, there's a whole lot of people, almost half, who are not paying income tax for the federal government. And what does that mean? The people who are actually paying taxes are pulling that cart. And the fact is that President Obama likes to talk a whole lot about fairness and equality. When is it unfair to the American taxpayer to be pulling the weight for the rest of the country? Okay, Juan, let me take here are numbers you can't refute. President Obama took office, the price of a gallon of gasoline was $1.83. It's now $3.69. That's a 100% rise in gasoline. Food, all-time record highs for food prices. Meanwhile, household incomes have gone down. Ask the Census Bureau. I'm not making these numbers up. People, the American public is getting squeezed.
No, you're cherry picking. I don't think there's any question that the American public's getting squeezed. But, Eric, remember, inflation's just about zero, and a lot of people blame the policies of the Fed. And don't forget, Wall Street's at an all-time high. So these are, again, contextual things. But I would say, and I think Katie, you know, Katie says, oh, these unemployment numbers are bogus. They're the same numbers, the same criteria that's been used for every president in every time. So all of a sudden you want to change the rules because you just want to bash Obama. Instead, look at the reality. Right now here in Washington, we have a Congress, a Republican majority in the House, let me add, that will not do the basics. Will not do the basics in terms of a highway trust fund that could put more Americans to work. Will not do the basics in terms of an immigration policy that big business says will stir the American economy, stimulate more growth. This is what is holding us back, is people who don't believe in America. You forgot one thing. You forgot one thing about all those things. It's going to cost the American people a whole heck of a lot of money. Go ahead, Kayla. You invest in education. You invest in
investment. Investment is just another liberal term that actually just means spending more taxpayer money. This has to come from somewhere, creating a trust fund. Oh, and by the way, didn't we spend $1 trillion on the stimulus package, which was supposed to rebuild our roads and bridges? What happened to all of that money? It got wasted because the government isn't good at spending our money on things that actually count, and they don't make investments, they spend money. Further, when it comes to the unemployment rate, this isn't about bashing Obama. This is about the fact that an unprecedented amount of people have left left the workforce. And on the food stamp issue, let's give the viewers here a visual. During the Great Depression, we saw people lining up in food and bread lines, right? We don't see that today because of the way the food stamp program is put onto plastic credit cards, debit cards that they swipe through at the grocery store. Imagine 47 million people standing in line 3 times a day waiting for their food every day. It would be lines forever, miles and miles long, but we don't see that because we have a different system now. There's a huge crisis.
Wait, Katie,
that is hidden.
Are you saying that's a bad thing?
Yes, I am saying that 47 million people who would potentially be standing in line to get food 3 times a day is a bad thing, Juan.
Yeah, that's what I think. So I think you just made the case, Katie. You just made the case for a compassionate, conservative government run by a Democrat like Obama or a Republican like Bush, that we take care of our people, and especially, let me just say, especially our elderly, our veterans, and our children.
Right,
those are the people who benefit most by the safety net programs.
We only have about a minute. I'm going to take it around very quickly. Katie, I travel around the country a lot. I talk to people. People are not happy. Things are not good. So all these headlines you see coming out of the White House saying, unemployment rate goes down, things are getting better, the Obama recovery, it's not translated to Main Street. I'm telling you, people on Main Street are fed up, and they're mad, and they're sick of this.
No, all the people here in Washington, including Republicans and Democrats and the White House, are stuck in their bubble, and the D.C. Beltway wasn't affected by the great crash of 2008 and the Obama economy up until this point. It is different out there in America, and people are hurting, and entitlements are not opportunity in this country, and they hold people back, and we've seen that through a lack of economic growth in the past 6 years.
All right, Juan, you got 3 seconds.
Well, I just say, if Katie wants to kick the old people under the bus, I'm sorry. That's not America.
That's not
America.
Kick the old people and children under the bus. You're going to have to leave it there.